Hi, I'm Bruce Bukiet, a math professor at the New Jersey Institute of Technology. Welcome to the online professional learning exchange for the Common Core State Standards focused on fractions for grades 3 to 5. In this video, we will look at dividing fractions. The first thing we want to think about when dividing fractions is what are the conceptual understandings that need to happen, and how is this shown pictorially? Then we want to think about why dividing by a fraction is the same as multiplying by its reciprocal. These are two very important conceptual ideas. Let's begin with something simple, such as a fraction divided by another fraction. 1/2 divided by 3/4. As we think about this, what is each one of the parts of this fraction, the numerator and the denominator, actually representing? And then, how can we really look at this? Starting with the numerator, we begin with the reference whole, broken into two equal parts. 1/2 would then represent one of these two parts. Considering the denominator, that same reference whole is broken into 4 equal parts. Now we have 3 of 4 parts. Note how both fractions refer to the same reference whole as shown here. We want to compare 1 of 2 to 3 of 4. When we look at how 1/2 and 3/4 of that reference whole are related, we begin to see that we are looking at a comparison between the red segments and the blue segments as shown. We'll come back to this towards the end of the video, but first we will look at something simpler. Let's look at two wholes divided by 1/2, and then consider how we want to conceive of this idea when we are thinking of how many halves are in two wholes. Seeing this graphically represented can assist us to understand it conceptually. We have two complete items represented by these two whole segments. These come together to connect our two reference wholes. If we then create two equal parts in each of our reference wholes, we see that we have a total of 4 parts. Our original expression is asking us to count how many 1/2s are in the two wholes. We can see that there are 4. Returning to our previous example of 1/2 divided by 3/4, we can simplify this expression by using our knowledge of equivalent fractions. Multiplying the numerator and the denominator by a convenient number like 4 results in a simpler expression. On the top, the 4 and the 2 yield a 2, and on the bottom, the 4's cancel, so we end up with 3. Now, what is the algebra behind this? Instead of looking at specific numbers, let's discuss this using variables. We will work with a over b divided by c over d. Using equivalent fractions, as we just saw, we can simplify this expression by multiplying the top and the bottom by b, which yields a in the numerator over c times b divided by d in the denominator. We can simplify this expression further by multiplying by d. This leaves us with AD in the numerator, and in the denominator the d's cancel, and we are left with BC. So our expression becomes A times D divided by B times C. So why did we do this? Remember how we talked about how multiplying by the reciprocal is the same as dividing fractions? If we look at our original expression, A over B divided by C over D, and take the reciprocal of the denominator, we can reorganize what we have into a over b times d over c. That is, we can multiply a over b by the reciprocal of the denominator. Often students only learn to multiply by the reciprocal without knowing why they are doing it or how it would look graphically. Seeing the relationship of the two fractions will aid student learning. Rather than go through these steps, our students would multiply by the reciprocal of the denominator. As we saw earlier, multiplying and reducing simplifies 1/2 divided by 3/4 to become 2/3. Let's consider an example. Suppose Sandy purchased 3/4 of an acre of land to farm. In order to fund the purchase, she rents out 1/4 of an acre to Kevin. This leaves Sandy with 1/2 of an acre for her to farm. On what fraction of the land that she purchased can Sandy farm? Let's solve this word problem using graphical representations. This fraction bar represents 1 acre. Sandy purchased 3/4 of an acre, which is shown by coloring in 3 parts of the fraction bar. When Sandy rents out 1/4 of an acre to Kevin, she is left with 1/2 of an acre for her to farm, which is represented by shading in half of the fraction bar red. The fraction of the land she purchased that Sandy is able to farm can be expressed as 1/2 over 3/4. This is the same as multiplying and reducing the expression, which simplifies to 2/3. These are two things we want to think about: the conceptual shift of, rather than just telling students, creating an understanding of how we arrive at the solution, and also the graphical representation that enables students to visualize the meaning of dividing by a fraction. And that shows the relationship between the numerator and the denominator. Thank you for watching and for helping New Jersey students be successful. And may the power of math be with you.